Hi there, my name is Pastor Greg, and you're watching Transforming the World. During the final days of Denver's old Stapleton Airport, there's a crowded United flight that was canceled. And there was a single agent trying to get everybody rescheduled. Long line of inconvenienced travelers. And of course, the ticket agent is doing her absolute best to get everybody processed. Well, a very, very angry customer, very angry passenger, pushes his way all the way to the front desk. He slaps his ticket down and he says, "I have to be on this flight and it has to be first class." And of course the agent says, "Look, I'm sorry. I'll be happy to process you. I'll be very happy to help you, but we've got to get these other folks, get them through first, and then I'll be able to work something out for you." Of course, this irate passenger, he's very unimpressed. And he asked very loudly so that everyone in the terminal would be able to hear this. And he looks at the ticket agent and he says, "Do you happen to know who I am?" And the ticket agent doesn't hesitate. She grabs the microphone, the PA mic, and began speaking into it so the entire terminal could hear. And the ticket agent says, "May I have your attention, please?" And of course her voice is bellowing throughout the terminal. She's, "May I have your attention, please? We have a passenger here at the gate who does not know who they are. So if anyone could please help him find his identity, please come to gate number 17. Yeah, surely this was a guy who thought quite highly of himself. And according to Jesus, this fellow is not going to inherit anything. At least spiritually, he's not going to inherit anything. We are talking about the characteristic of meekness on Transforming the World. And Christ speaks on this in Matthew 5:5, the Beatitudes that begin the Sermon on the Mount. And Matthew 5:5 says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth," which is why this irate passenger is not going to inherit anything. No meekness there. How about it? So my name is Pastor Greg. This is Transforming the World, and meekness is the topic this week. We'll examine that characteristic in just a moment. I'll be right back. What is meekness? Who are the meek? That's even a better question. Show me a meek person. I'd like to see what they look like. What does meekness look like lived out in an individual? Well, meekness is, for lack of a better description, meekness is a humble attitude that expresses itself in the patient endurance of offenses. The man at the ticket counter definitely was not meek because there was no patience. There was no endurance. It was an unfortunate circumstance. It was not a pleasant encounter for anyone. And yet, for some odd reason, this fellow felt that he was above and beyond everyone else there in line because he was important. A synonym of meekness might be gentleness. That's a pretty practical synonym for what meekness really is. It implies mercy. It implies self-restraint. But please hear this. Meekness is not weakness. Sometimes we confuse the two. But the difference between a meek person and a weak person is this. A weak person can't do anything. A meek person, on the other hand, can do something, but chooses not to. You see the difference? A meek person can do something about the situation that they are in, but they choose not to. They can respond, and they are probably justified to respond in a certain way, but they choose not to. In Psalm 37:7, we're told, this is out of the New Living Translation, we're told to be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for him to act. Don't worry about evil people who prosper or fret about their wicked schemes. Why? Verse 9 says, because the wicked will be destroyed, but those who trust in the Lord will possess the land. And King David says in verse 11 of Psalm 37, he says, the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. So according to Jesus and King David, it's the meek person is the one who is going to endure to the end. The world is not overcome by power. The world is not overcome by force, but rather those who trust that God is the one who is truly in control. And again, the man at the airport, I mean, let's face it, the man at the airport would have been given a seat eventually. Eventually, he would have been on a flight. He just needed to practice some meekness. I mean, the airline was in control of the situation, right? But he wasn't content with that and forcibly tried to control the entire situation, and all it got him was shamed. If you look at the self-evaluation section in the Disciples' Journal for this topic of meekness, the question number 4 asks this: do I let the peace of Christ rule in my heart? And the meek person actually understands that the Lord is the one who is in control of things and that he is going to bring about his will in all circumstances. Again, that's not weakness, that's demonstrating restraint. And we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow in Transforming the World. Meekness is the topic this week. I'll see you tomorrow.